We get football on TV again. I mean, so-called football. It's going to be teams. It's going to be the Steelers and the Cowboys, but it's not really going to be the Steelers and the Cowboys in the Hall of Fame game. You know, it's football, but it's not really football. But, hey, it's football nonetheless. This week, we're diving back into the divisions. We're getting into who in the world is going to win the NFC East. It's a question that comes up every year. Hopefully, we'll answer it for you a little ahead of the season this time. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, and most of all, just enjoy. It's nickel and dime. Let's go. And we are back with another division preview episode. We got the NFC East this week. Shawn, how you feeling about it?
Oh, feeling pretty good, man. We started to get into this division, and I was very surprised by a lot of different things that I think we're going to discuss on this show. Some teams maybe got a better outlook than we thought. Some teams might still be on the outside looking in, but we're going to talk about it.
And needless to say, I think it's safe to bet on this division coming down to the wire. Like, no one's going to run away with it. It's not going to be done in the first few weeks. Something that's going to be fighting until the end of the season.
Yeah, again, but this division is better for it, Drew. This division is better for it, and we are all better for it, even though we all hate the Cowboys. So it still makes for great TV either way you look at it.
I mean, nobody had a winning record last year, and we still talked about them a lot.
Yeah.
So if that tells you anything.
Quick question for the people, quick little tease, yes or no answer. Does that change with our predictions by the end of this show?
Maybe a little.
Maybe. Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll
much.
see. Yeah.
Well, a funny kind of, I don't know, however you look at it, sad, funny, depressing, hilarious story to kick off. We got a little bit of housekeeping notes and kicking right into it, keeping with the NFC East theme. Tight end Kelvin Benjamin released before the first practice was over.
You hate to see it happen. I did read a little bit of this story, and apparently...
Oh, it's fantastic, is it not?
Yeah, he was a little mad by the way Joe Judge apparently handled the situation by doing it on the field, like or off the adjacent to the field. You know what I mean? But like talking about like how he came in overweight, and like as soon as I saw the
overweight.
Well, I mean, it was like 10, 15 pounds. I mean... You know, in the
they
summer
wanted
heat,
him to be at 251. They wanted him to be 251. He came in at 268. Instead of losing weight after minicamp where he weighed 265, they're like, hey, go home, lose 14 pounds. He's like, nah, fam, I'm going to gain 3, and we're going to see where we're at.
I'm saying, but the thing is, though, is like, I mean, you could, I really can't. I can't. I tried to come to the defense of Fat Kelvin, whatever his name is. But, I mean, those were the rules.
I like Fat Kelvin better.
He didn't follow the rules, man. They told him to lose weight over the course of a couple months, and he ain't do it. I'm saying this is a pro roster, so you can't expect to be on the team if the team told you what to do and you ain't do it. You know what I mean?
And it's not like his first time where he was supposed to lose weight and he didn't.
No. This was arguably his last chance to get on the roster because he was out of the league before this. And he ate himself out of the league before, and he doesn't have that cachet anymore, Drew. He's not a first-round pick. He's not a first-round pick. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get it, bro. I don't want to lose.
He's not.
You know what I mean? Like, but I also don't have $3 million in my face if I do.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I can do it. I'm not saying I'm any way, shape, or form.
Apparently, Calvin couldn't do it either. Kelvin couldn't do it.
But
either.
I would like to try. I'd like to try. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
If any team wants to bring back a solid 5'7", 250-pound, I'll get down to 235 for you. Fullback. I'm only turning 36 this year, so get me in my prime. You know what I mean?
It'd be you and Juszczyk, man. It'd be you and Juszczyk. That's all I'm saying. Like the best fullbacks in the league.
All right. In other news, the Ravens snagged Justin Houston on a 1-year, $4 million deal. That's a. If he plays somewhat like the old him, that's a steal.
Yeah, for a premium position like a pass rusher at $4 million, if he can give you what you think you are getting by signing him, low risk, high reward. You know what I mean? Very, very good way to put that. If you can get any semblance of what Justin Houston can do or used to be able to do, good signing.
Talk about another low risk, high reward. Saints pick up Devontae Freeman.
Former All-Pro.
That could be a nice little combo in the backfield.
That could. I'm a little skeptical though because of what I thought Devontae Freeman was going to give the Giants when they signed him. I thought that was going to be a boost there, and he showed nothing up there. So
he showed nothing
until then. I can't really get rid of him. But I mean, well, if he went to New Orleans, Drew, he's getting back. Wasn't he Jameis Winston's running back in college though? Wasn't that him?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Reunited with Mr. Winston.
Hey, maybe they can get Kelvin Benjamin back too, and down there in New Orleans they need receivers, not big ones, but they can get that old national championship squad back together and do it that way.
Dude, Kelvin Benjamin is eating his feelings at a KFC right now. Do not disturb that man. Another running back getting his payday. Nick Chubb signs a 3-year, $36 million extension with the Browns. They just secured Hunt. Now they got Chubb.
Yeah,
keeping that backfield together.
That's just nothing but a good move. Like, it's just nothing but a good move on their part. I mean, like you and I both love some Nick Chubb. So good signing, about $12 million a year. I mean, not bad for the position.
Yeah.
Not great in terms of overall money in the league now. I was thinking about that when they announced the signing. I'm like, man, it's just $12 million, which is like sort of at the top level for a running back market, but pass rushers are getting paid what at the top of their position, 18 to 20, 22, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't get like 14, 15.
Yeah.
But maybe he gave some of that to be a shorter, because he gets to renegotiate a new contract at 29. You know what I mean? Like get one more payday before he's out of the prime years.
And he'll hit it too, especially like if he keeps producing like he has been, then he'll get another big payday at 29. I mean, it probably won't be as big, but like let's say it stays solid or stagnant. If he's getting 12 mil at 26 and then getting 12 mil at 29 as a last contract, you know what I'm saying? That's not bad because the salary cap is probably going to go up, but he's now an older player on that last contract. So if he can sneak another 12 out when everybody else is getting 15, as a 30-year-old running back getting $12 million, that ain't bad. You know what I mean?
Right. Would you retire with $72 million in the bank?
What? I retire with less than that because I ain't got it now. Live off the dividends, man.
Right. Well, someone who's trying to live off them dividends, Xavier Howard officially requests a trade from Miami. He has
with
4 years left.
Segue. Yeah.
4 years left, but he's only due to make $12 million a year. You know I harp on this dude all the time. Could have been Defensive Player of the Year last year.
Yes.
Like, he's got more interceptions than most teams combined.
Yeah, and I think I don't blame him. He's being very vocal about it, though. He's being very, very vocal about it. And I guess, like, to an extent, I definitely get that because the corner on the opposite side, we talked about this before, is getting paid more than him coming in as a free agent.
And not producing much.
And not producing that much. But, and this is the thing, I try to be as unbiased as I can be. We got to look at it from the other side, Drew. This is a guy who just renegotiated his contract a couple years ago to get what he is getting now. And has he outperformed it? I can arguably say that. You know what I'm saying? With what he's done on the field, we'll give you that too. But it's kind of a sticky situation either way you look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, if he gets paid more, then that's less money they can build the team around too. You know what I mean? It's not like they're a complete team right now.
Yeah.
They might be a playoff team, but they're not making a run in the playoffs. So
right.
The more money locked up on I see both sides. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I've always just been intrigued by, like, the balances. But, I mean, look at what Tampa Bay did this year. Money's not real, and the cap room doesn't really exist. So
yeah. Now, I will say this is this is talk to Mike Greenberg. Shout Mike Greenberg, the God. This is what happens. I was thinking about this the other day, Drew. There's a lot of money that is available in the Tampa Bay roster because these vets came together for one common goal and took less money. So you were just talking about Xavion maybe needing to take less money. If the team is right there, bro, you might have to take, if you are really for a team, then you might have to take less of a deal than what the market pays. I guess Tom Brady's making 25. Everybody else has been making, vet minimum, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit of a premium, but the money's there. So
yeah. And I mean, and I get it. Coming off of a hot year he had last year, trying to cash in. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I see both of this.
Maybe pay him a little bit and then, do something like that. Maybe take off a year. I don't know.
I think a lot of those times, man, that like a lot would go a long way with just communication. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of times that the contracts get dicey when everybody's hearing stuff from the media. You know what I mean? Like, all it takes is that GM and that coach and that player to sit down and talk it out. But instead, the player's sitting at home getting pissed because he's hearing stuff on SportsCenter instead of hearing it from the mouth of the people saying it in the first place.
Exactly. And you never know. You actually never know who is also in that player's ear. You know what I'm saying? Like, who may be in his camp that's really not giving that player the right kind of messages that they need to kind of keep a level head about things. So, I don't want to dismiss that factor either. You know what I mean?
Very true, very true. Well, we got one last housekeeping note to talk about, and it's a doozy. Carson Wentz needs surgery on that foot. He's out 5 to 12 weeks. What do you do if you're Indianapolis right now?
Try not to panic. I mean, they were putting all their hopes and dreams on that man's feet, and apparently they couldn't hold up. He got injured. I don't know what they're going to do, man, because he's probably going to miss the start of the season. That could put them behind the 8 ball in a very competitive AFC. I don't know what you do, Drew. Like, if okay, let me pose a question to you. If I am the Indianapolis Colts, or if you were, would you go out and sign a vet quarterback? Like a reliable vet quarterback that's not like a mediocre one. You know what I mean?
No, man. I spent a high draft pick on Jacob Eason, and I want to see what he's got. That's what I'm doing if I'm the Colts. Because you got a team there. You're going to get Carson Wentz back eventually. Like, I don't think you trade any of your assets or mess up your future picks to go get someone who's got to learn the system when you got a guy who's been there for 2 years now. Yes. And you can work with him, and you have time to get him there. You have time to build that rapport with the wide receivers. And, I mean, to be honest with you, you're going to play defense and run the ball most of the time anyway, aren't you? So
they could
let
definitely
someone run this offense. Yeah.
They could form the team that way. Even if they didn't plan on that coming in, they could definitely form the team that way, or form the game plan around managing the game and having a game manager as opposed to a threat that could win a game for you. But I think that's the move. I think that's where the smart money is. I can't say what a team will do. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they try to trade for a Jimmy G or something crazy like that.
I was going to say, who do you go get? Who's really out there that you want to go get?
I don't know. And that's the thing is, like, the problem, I think, and why they will end up going with Jacob Eason is if you do go that route, now you put Carson Wentz back in the same position that he was in before, where he's watching his back. It makes it for an awkward situation, and he just got out of that, and we already saw that he didn't thrive in that type of environment. So if you paid all these assets for him, you need to see it through. I think Jacob Eason's the guy, Drew. I think you hit the nail on the head.
But then he comes in and balls out, and now Carson Wentz can't get his confidence back. So
hey, if you the Colts, bro, that's good problems. That's good problems, though.
Yeah, Yeah, because also if Carson Wentz doesn't play 75% of the snaps, you're only giving a second round pick for him, not a first.
Right. And they're already on the path to that right now because he's already in there. So didn't even make it through training camp. Worst case scenario for those guys right now, unless Jacob Eason balls, like you said.
I hope so, man. I'm pulling for that guy. All right, let's get into it. The NFC East, one of the most notorious divisions. Hasn't always been the best, but sometimes the most entertaining. Right. Going through some things this year. You know, Dak's back in Dallas, Fitzmagic's in Washington, Barkley's back in New York.
Right.
The Eagles are the Eagles. So I think there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. I mean, the NFC East is kind of crazy. There's a lot of people, a lot of players in this division looking for redemption, looking for big years. It won't happen, but if everything goes right for this division, it could make it for a very interesting playoff race. But I don't know if that's going to come to that, but we'll talk about it once we get through these.
I think it's going to be interesting, and as the last few years have been interesting, where we don't know who's going to win. Not necessarily that there's teams blowing it out of the water. And
I think a lot of it hinges on injuries for the division. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of it hinges on that. So who you want to get into first, bro?
All right, first team up, Philadelphia Eagles. They went 4-11 last year. Said goodbye to Carson Wentz. Handed the reins over to Jalen Hurts. Went out and got him a shiny new wide receiver in the first round, who's already hurt. Yes. I was I'm surprised that ain't made housekeeping notes, you know what I'm saying? But we addressing it now. Devontae Smith already hurt. Isn't this what people thought was going to happen, Drew? Yeah, that was their fear of him being a smaller receiver, right? Is he's not durable, he's not built for the league, you know? Yep. So it's I hope amazing. It's not, Percy Harvin all over again. That's what we don't want, because Percy was on that. He was a beast, man. Percy was a beast. Yeah, dude. All that stuff. But and that's the thing. Like, he hadn't even shown. I don't even know what's been going on in training camp or whatever. Like, how he's been doing. I hadn't really heard any reports. But talk about worst fears for the Colts. This is worst fears for the Eagles, because that whole city was relying on this small receiver. So to take that passing game to the next level, man. But I mean, I did like their draft though. You know what I'm saying? Like, their draft was all right. Yeah. Yeah, got the center Dickerson in the second and defensive tackle Williams in the third. Got Gainwell from Memphis in the fifth. Yeah, and he is Philadelphia is going to love him, Drew. Philadelphia is going to love him. But I really just not only that, but they got my boy Jacoby Stevens in the sixth. From LSU. Yes, they got him in the sixth. Good player. Patrick Johnson, some pass rush help. I want to say he is from Tulane, but some good tape there as well. So I really like their draft, but I don't necessarily like the Devontae Smith pick because of what just happened to the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this already happened. Like, I'm sorry, but college athletes are not pro athletes, and what he did in college, it could translate, but I am skeptical. You know what I mean? That's just, it is what it is. Can't do crazy things if you're hurt all the time, You said it best. They did go out and some nice offseason pickups. Got Joe Flacco to be the backup. Picked up Kerrigan Johnson, the running back from Lions. Yes. And crosstown rivals picked up defensive end Kerrigan from the Washington football team. Yeah. You remember we talked about that further back in the offseason, like how they were like, this is the second coming. It's the second coming. We about to do it again. And Ryan Kerrigan definitely has that ability. I like the depth signing in LaRaven Clark and former college UConn standout. They just picked up Obi Melifonwu. I'm very curious to see how that plays out, because he was out the league. Came in with a little bit of cachet, a little underrated guy, but didn't perform well, and was out the league. And now he gets brought back for a second chance. So I want to see how that plays out. So we love our second chances here on Nickel and Dime. So we're hoping the best. How you feel about this offense? It is Jalen Hurts' team. Drew, I'll say this. For as much as people are trying to maybe kind of downplay Jalen Hurts, I do think we see an improvement.
I think we see an improvement in year 2. Just because he's that type of guy. Like I don't know if the team is going to be great, but what I do know is you will see an improvement from him. And that he will adjust to how the team plays throughout the season. So I think you'll see an improvement from him. What about you?
I'm excited. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan. I'm glad it's his team now. Right. I do not have any confidence in these wide receivers though.
Drew, you couldn't have put the words better in my mouth. That's literally what I wrote next is like, what are we getting from them? What are we getting from those wide receivers? And more importantly, is this Sirianni offense a wide receiver friendly offense? Like I don't know what we're getting from this offense. So like I can't tell you if the wide receivers are going to be put in position to do well or not.
Is he going to be able to communicate? Like I just imagine, like if anything's showing about his coaching style from how he does a press conference, like I can imagine how nerve wracking that locker room's going to be. Like just him on the board, like we're going to get the ball to the one wide receiver and he's going to go downfield and then the running back is going to cut back and then the defense is like he would put me to sleep, man. It's like taking biology your freshman year in college at 8 a.m. in the morning. Yeah.
I'd probably be on that too. He doesn't look like a rah-rah guy to me. I don't know. We're gonna see, but I think another important question for the wide receivers is can they stay healthy? I just don't know. They've been lacking in that department for a couple years. I do like the running backs though. I like the running backs.
Are you kidding me? Fantastic. It's the heart of the team.
The question for me is like we were just talking about the wide receivers is does Sirianni kind of highlight Miles Sanders and unleash him, so to speak? Because I feel like for what Miles Sanders can give you, they haven't really given him a lot of ops these last couple of years to break out, and hopefully that changes.
All right, I definitely, again, I have faith in Sanders. Do you have faith in this offensive line to open up gaps for him?
Literally what I wrote, is this O-line ready to protect Hurts? More importantly, the running back, but also Hurts. Like, as they go, I really don't know. Andre Dillard really hasn't been a guy who has been very as consistent and as highly touted as he was coming out. He really hasn't shown a lot. I love the Landon Dickerson signing. We just talked about that. But he's coming off an injury. So Lane Johnson and Jason Kelce, as good as they come. You know what I'm saying? But they also are a year older. I want to know how that plays out.
It's Kels.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Yes. I forgot about that.
I still can't get over that. Like, all right, man. All right,
we like to pronounce the name right on this show. Yeah.
Well, we kind of know what we're getting with the offense. A lot of questions at the wide receiver and being able to throw the ball down the field. But what about this defense? Can they hold teams? Can they be a defense or a team that plays defense and runs the ball and has success?
I think so. I really like, the front four and the DL rotation, very, very good. I like what I see there. It's a clear strength for this team. I just don't know what you're getting behind that front four and the rest of that defensive line. The linebackers, they look suspect to me. You got big play Slay, but I don't know if he can do it by himself. I'm sorry. I don't know if he can do it by himself. Like I said, they signed Obi Melifonwu. Avonte Maddox can give you some good plays. I don't know what to see. I don't know what to make of the rest of this secondary here, and that's a problem in the passing league, Drew.
Yeah, again, talking about Xavier Howard and how he has a case, 10 interceptions last year. The entire team had 8.
Yeah, and that's a problem. That's a problem. Maybe you were hinting at this. I don't know, but are we looking at a trade scenario here? Like, are we looking at a trade scenario here?
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Sounds like it could make a pretty good deal before the trade deadline if they get desperate.
Yeah. But would they be sellers? Would they just clear house?
The Dolphins, if it doesn't go the way they think it's gonna go, why not get rid of somebody who's being a little mouthy anyway? And ain't in it for what they need to be in it for. You know what I mean? So I can see it going that way.
Yeah. especially if Jalen comes in and balls out and they're in a good position after a few games, you know.
Yep.
Well, speaking of which,
they may need a piece.
Yeah. How you feel about their schedule? They do have a late bye. They got to play 13 straight games before they get a week off.
See, therein lies the problem for the Eagles, and I just don't think they're going to be very good, even though you are going to get improvement from Jalen Hurts. I think, just to put it simply, man, I got them boys going 5-12, man. I got them boys going 5-12.
I have them going 5-12 as well.
Oh, lockstep. Yeah. Lockstep. I just don't see it.
Oh man, we're gonna hear it from our resident Eagles fan on this one.
Yeah, I know. Shout to Paul, man. We love you. We love you, bro. But until it's real, it ain't real. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to the next team, we got Dallas Cowboys. 6-10 last year. Had to play the year without Dak Prescott after that gruesome leg injury. Ezekiel Elliott was off last year. The defense gave up way too many points. But how do you feel they did in this draft?
All right, so Cowboys draft. I mean, I obviously, I'm in love with their first pick. Love me some Micah Parsons.
Could be the
I'm not a huge. He very well could be. He's going to get every opportunity to do so. I'm not a huge fan of Kelvin Joseph. I do like this shout to Vach Lombardi if y'all watch him on YouTube. He calls him Odigazua little brother. And that's exactly who he is to me whenever I watch this tape after watching that. But they got Odigazua little brother from UCLA, who's a good player. I love Drew, and Drew. We talked about this LSU linebacker. They got Jabril Cox in the 4th. So overall, I love their draft. They had 3 third rounds and 2 fourths, Drew. So they had a lot of opportunities to get some good players. Yeah. Those are just the players that I really liked out of their draft. So Jerry picking from the boat. Jerry picking from the boat, man. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yacht drafting Jerry. Well, they went out and got Neal. And then they also picked up Hooker to shore up that defense that had a lot of holes in it last year.
Yeah.
Any other offseason moves you can think of that of note?
No, but just to touch on them for a second, that's what I was going to say. And these, they picked up Keanu Neal pretty early, but Malik Hooker was a pretty late signing. And these are 2 off-injured guys, but talk about low risk, high reward. If both of these players hit on what people think they can, especially a Keanu Neal, but if you can get Malik Hooker to stay on the field, do what you thought he was going to do coming out of college, this could bode very well for a porous Dallas defense. 2020 Dallas defense. We'll see what Dan Quinn has to offer these boys, but it could work out.
Well, kind of transitioning over to the offense has a chance to be a very exciting offense to watch. If Elliott can return to form, Prescott can return to form, but he's already got some shoulder soreness. Do you think it was maybe he was working on his legs too much in the offseason, trying to rehab them, that he didn't maybe get the throws in?
Getting that Kevin Durant treatment, man. We're not taking. I mean, no, I don't think so, but it's kind of crazy though, because his arm's now hurting. Hopefully he didn't what I mean by the Kevin Durant treatment is not taking enough rest time to rest yourself seriously and then wind up getting hurt again, which will happen to Kevin Durant. My first question is he going to return to form? And this does not indicate that he is quite right. So it's not a knee or a leg injury, it's an arm injury, but still, somebody posed the question that it might be him trying to rehab those legs, like you just said, and then now he's got an arm tweak, changing up his throwing motion, or something like that. So, what I do know is that they do bode one of the best wide receiving cores in the league. You know, and these are guys that stay on the field. They stay on the field. So, I love what they're doing there. I do love what they're doing there.
And their tight ends on the a star on the rise too with Jarwin. He's shown a couple of games here and there.
I'm with you. I love the tight end position. I tried to buy into the Blake Jarwin hype last year, and so much so that I had him on my fantasy squad. He ain't do nothing, so I'm off the Blake Jarwin train. Miss me with the Blake Jarwin, man. I can't do it. I can't do it. Like show me something, Blake.
Did we find your T.Y. Hilton?
You might have found him. I mean, because I'm not here for it, man. He didn't show me love when I needed him to show me love. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes or no? Does Ezekiel Elliott rush for 1,000 yards this year?
I think so. And that was one of the questions I had is talking about Dak. Hopefully he can return to form, but like, is Slim Zeke going to return to form? You know what I'm saying? He's Slim Zeke now. You know what I mean? Came into camp apparently in the best shape of his life. Common trope there. We all know, Drew, you know this. I was beating this drum last year, but probably was the best running back on that roster last year. And I want to see Zeke. I might be out on the Zeke train too, because again, I had him on my fantasy squad, and that did not work out.
You really
as much
went
as he was tearing up the
there.
league every year prior. Okay. I had to, man. It was horrible. It was a horrible fantasy year last year. It was horrible.
Who you telling?
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of horrible,
but no, I think so.
Okay. Speaking of horrible years, how does this defense has to improve? Has to.
Yeah. I wrote this down. I straight up don't believe the latest ESPN depth chart for this Cowboy D, because they were so bad, and it has lots of starters in front of depth guys who are arguably better than the starters. I don't know that I believe what I'm seeing here. You know what I mean? I know Neville Gallimore. I'm not a huge Neville Gallimore fan. DeMarcus Lawrence injured. He hasn't really done too much. They got Randy Gregory starting. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got Keanu Neal backing up. They got Malik Hooker backing up. They got Kelvin Joseph backing up, as listed right now. So like, I don't know if somebody fell asleep putting this together, but I think a lot of those guys are gonna
to see if they're gonna be healthy, I guess.
Yeah, that's. They do have apparently some injuries here, but I mean, I think that overall, there's going to be a lot of competition because that Dallas defense was so bad last year. You know what I'm saying?
So bad.
They have to may the best man win in training camp, and hopefully Dan Quinn ain't just giving positions away. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they got a bye week 7. And I just they got a tough schedule, man. There's a lot of teams that can score a lot of points on this defense.
Yeah. I mean, it is Dallas. It is Dak. He is healthy-ish right now. And they, even if their defense is bad, they are going to put up some points. So I think they definitely get some wins, more wins than losses. I have Dallas going 10-7.
I got them going 9-8.
I mean, that's the difference of one win either way. Yeah. Like, one win either way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it could very easily be 9-8. Very easily. Or 8-9 if they lose a couple that they shouldn't lose. You know what I mean?
Which they tend to do sometimes.
It happens. It happens. I gave them the benefit of the doubt.
And
I wanted a little bit of Dallas fan love. Maybe I wanted a little bit of Dallas fan love. Like and subscribe if you like the page, man. You know, share it with your boys, you know what I'm saying, or your girls, you know what I'm saying? Tell us to come give us a like and subscribe, man. We here for you. We are here for you, Dallas. Not your team, but you.
Well, we got the New York Giants up next. Went 6-10 as well. Kind of, they get Barkley back. They're sticking with Jones at the QB. Went out and got the wide receiver from Florida in the first round.
Kadarius Toney. Yeah,
I really like Ojulari in the second.
Good pick.
Went and got Robinson the corner in the third. And then, picked up some players in the offseason. So before we get into that, how do you feel about this draft?
I'd love every pick that you just named. I also loved Ellerson Smith, the defensive end. Got some ability there too. I really liked him. Talking about the offseason, signed your player in Leonard Williams. brought in Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, with
which
Evan
I thought
Ingram
was
still in
interesting.
town.
Yeah, and I mean, apparently, like, I was talking to some Giants fans on Twitter, and they are like very down on Evan Ingram. Apparently, he lets him down in all the wrong spots.
Okay.
Like, he is very inconsistent. I always, like, from afar, I love Evan Ingram and his
great.
ability. You know what I mean? But like, he is a lightning rod for that fan base. So
okay.
I think the Kyle Rudolph signing actually bodes well for Evan Ingram in the long run. I think you might get your best year out of him because there's finally somebody who they're just like, all right, man, I'll just take you off the field and put him in there.
Right.
And when there's a threat of that,
I think he'll be a very interesting player to look at come trade deadline time too, especially if the Giants stumble a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, we got to mention the boy Kenny Golladay was their big signing.
Big.
Got a definite number one.
And they got Mike Glennon,
wide receiver there.
They brought Mike Glennon in the backup.
As a backup. See, this is the thing, like, man, Mike Glennon might have that touch on him to where, like, if you bring him in, he going to see the field for a couple plays at least. You know what I mean? Like, he seems to always get on the field wherever he is in some way, shape, or form. So I don't know if that bodes well for your starter.
You got a special place in your heart for that dude. I get it. That's fine. That's okay.
I mean, he's a nice guy when I met him. He was a nice guy.
They did bring in Booker from the Broncos and Raiders to be a little insurance policy, or just to be a 1-2 punch in that backfield.
I think it gives him a good 1-2 punch. I've always liked what Devontae Booker has done, and I think he's a known. Like, you know what you're going to get from him. If not, I think he's a good backup. If anything, if nothing else, you know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about this offense because it is sitting on the shoulders of Daniel Jones. He's getting his star running back back. They went out and signed the high-dollar, big-profile wide receiver. He's got a duo of tight ends. He's got a duo of running backs. They've spent their first-round pick on a wide receiver. So it's kind of up to you, bud.
It really is. And, I mean, Giants fans, I'll put it to you. Do you believe in Daniel Jones? That's the question, because the rest of the offense is looking pretty good. I'm sorry. Like, the rest of the offense is looking pretty good. I'm big Sterling Shepard fan, have been since he came out of Oklahoma. Obviously a huge Saquon Barkley fan. And I like Darius Slayton too. I was high on him last year.
He's underrated.
He has some good ability. Not only that, but you're adding Kadarius Toney, and you also have John Ross coming off the bench, who was a speed guy. So this receiving core with Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph, I think they can definitely do some good things. It's up to Daniel Jones. It is really up to him.
Yeah,
that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Up to you, bud.
The offensive line has got to protect. I think they need to get better there because they weren't very good last year. But if they can protect even a little bit, I think you really get to see what you hopefully get to see from Daniel Jones, or you move on from him. You know what I mean?
Little side note, because we always like to keep our eye on fantasy football. Do you think there's any fantasy value in drafting Booker?
Ooh, smart play, maybe, but like bottom of the roster. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't know. I just have a good feeling about Saquon's health this year. And why waste a roster spot when, when you may not need to. But if he's available, I think if something happens, he's going to be one of the first people off the waiver wire for sure.
Yeah, might as well, grab him up trash time, those last few rounds.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
A little option for you guys out there when fantasy football draft's coming around at the end of the month. Let's talk about this defense.
If they haven't happened already.
Right. Let's talk about this defense, man.
Yeah,
this secondary is scary. Scary. They got Peppers, Bradbury, Ryan, Jackson. Like, come on.
Yeah. I really love James Bradbury. Is like, he's one of the best corners in the league, and I think he's continued to prove that. Jabril Peppers, since he's come over to New York, has finally lived up to his draft status. Logan Ryan continues to be a good player, and Adoree Jackson. So, like, this defense was not the problem last year, Drew. Like,
they were losing a lot of games, 13 to 16
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like took the Super Bowl champs down to the last play of the game. Like, let's not forget that. I know Giants fans won't let you forget that. I'm not going to let you forget that either. As a Bucks fan. So if the offensive side can hold up their part, looking at you, Daniel Jones, then y'all can win some games here.
Oh man, how stressful would it be to be a mediocre quarterback on like a really good team? You know what I mean? Like being Drew Lock in Denver or Daniel Jones in New York. You know, like, ooh.
The mediocre good teams quarterback club. That's what they are. I mean, they meet in secret, man. I mean, it's got to be a lot of pressure, bro.
They've won Super Bowls before. Looking at you, Trent Dilfer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's happened. Maybe they got rings and everything. I just don't know that Daniel Jones has it, but I'm very curious to see what happens there. Very curious to see what happens there. I think if they do what we say, if the offensive side can hold up their bargain, I think it makes this NFC East very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Because now the Giants are a player. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well,
in the playoff picture.
Well, let's look at this schedule, man, because they have some winnable games early on. You know, especially depending on what the Saints and Falcons turn out to be. I think that's their week 3 and 4. But then they got the Rams, Chiefs, Bucks, and Chargers all out of all later on sprinkled in the middle and the end of the season. So they got to get some wins early on for sure.
And I think they could, but it's a very good team, bad team, good team, bad team type of schedule. And I think because of that you get a mediocre team. Yep. I think they go 9-8. I got the Giants a little bit better than they were last year, and that's where I'm at with it. I think they're a pretty good team. I want Daniel Jones to step it up, man. I think they go 9-8.
I got them 8-9. Always the pessimist.
Wait, so what were they last year?
6-10.
What was their record last year?
6-10.
All right, so we both have them winning some more games. Yeah. We both have them winning more games.
I just do not believe in Daniel Jones. Up.
It's hard to do. It is very hard to do. I'm more of a believer in the defense and what the running game can do. Like they can, if everybody gets cracking, bro, they can will you to a win. They can will you to a win. Okay. So we'll see what happens. Just don't mess it up, Jones.
Well, last but definitely not least, they won the division last year with 7-9. It's the last ride of the team known as the Washington Football Team. Next year they'll get rebranded, get new logos,
that's right.
Get new jerseys, new names. It's the last ride of the football team.
Sad to see it go. That's what I was drinking to. Sad to see it go, man. You know?
Cheers.
I want to know what they are going to name the team, Drew. I just want to know what they're going to name the team.
Why make us wait another year? Just tell us.
Bro, if they're bad, do they start dropping hints early? Like in November?
Wait till next year. I promise it'll be different. We got a new team.
Right. Yeah. Maybe they start doing that. I'm not sure. But talking about the Washington Football Team, let me get my notes together here. I really like their draft, with the exception of the first pick. And, I'm a big Ron Rivera fan.
You don't like
Davis? I just don't know what I'm getting from Jamin Davis. Okay. I don't know what I'm getting from him.
He's a cool name.
I know he's athletic. Yeah, I didn't really care for his tape personally.
Okay.
So let's put a pin in Jamin Davis, because I'm not I don't really care for him, but we'll see what I have to say. It might
he might get around those studs on defense and fall in the line. You know what I mean? They don't need him to be a superstar. Just play your part, man. Play your part.
Well, you just gave it away, Drew. That was exactly what I was getting. This defense is so stacked.
My bad.
This defense, it's already out there now.
I'm foiling his plans.
The defense is so it's so stacked, man, that I think it honestly winds up boding well for him, because he's uber athletic. So if everybody else around him, if you don't have to worry about them, if they're solid, if not better than solid, all he has to do is just make plays. He's got to be at the football, which is what he can do. He's a very athletic guy. So I think he'll shine.
Yeah, well, good.
Because of the players around him.
I like it. Well, how do you feel about, is it Cosme? offensive tackle.
Sam Cosmi.
They got in the second round.
He's a good player. He's a good player. Who I like better than that, I love their third round pick, Ben St. Juste from Minnesota.
Well, I love their third round
him.
pick in wide receiver Brown from UNC.
Yes, De'Ami Brown. I was about to mention him as well, from North Carolina. Chris Sims is one of his highest rated receivers. Good tape.
Yeah,
he has
fantastic.
good tape. So
great hands. Route running.
I honestly think Ron Rivera is drafting way better in Washington than he did in Carolina.
I don't want to talk.
And that sucks for y'all.
I don't want to talk about it. He didn't have Hurney or Gettleman in his ear this time. He might have had Hurney because they were dumb and did that to him.
That's true.
He was just an advisor. He wasn't pulling the strings. So
there you go.
I just hope at least at one point Rivera turned to him like, "Shut up, Hurney."
He don't seem like that guy, but I mean, we can hope so. Hope so. I mean, the man was a dominant NFL linebacker.
I'm sure he can be scary if he needs to be. I'd hate to get chewed out by him because he doesn't chew out a lot of people.
Yeah, that's the old adage. Oof. That's the old adage. But they did some really good things in the offseason too, though. So, like, obviously, you bring in your starter and Ryan Fitzpatrick. You bring in William Jackson III, who has still got some ability. I love William Jackson III, always have. And then you bring in Adam First Down Humphreys. And I will say this, Ron Rivera has seen this show before because when he was coaching Carolina, that's when Adam Humphreys was doing work underneath as a slot receiver for Tampa Bay. So that's why he brought him in. There's a history there. He knows what this man can do. Washington fans, if you don't know, you will love him, especially if he gets opportunities.
Also brought in Curtis Samuel, a promising wide receiver from Carolina. So still got McLaurin in there.
Got some pieces, bro.
Yeah.
Washington got pieces, bro. Like, I want to see how it plays out. They're going to be a very exciting team to watch. Let's get into the offense. We talked about defense a little bit, but let's get into the offense though.
I like the running back trio: Gibson, McKissic, and Barber. I think that's going to be underrated for sure. Yeah. And like
Antonio Gibson's already shown you a lot of ability as well. J.D. McKissic has been an underrated guy. Peyton Barber has done it as a starter in press duty. You know what I'm saying? So I think you get more of what you have been getting from those three players, and as a trio, very dangerous. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think this is finally the year for him.
He finally gets to play
I'm still a believer in Fitzy. He finally gets to play a whole year with no threat of somebody coming in to take his job. I mean, this hadn't happened for quite a long time.
For the record, though, Henneke and Allen are right behind him. Both have shown. I don't think Allen's a threat, but we all watched that playoff game with Henneke and how well Washington played.
We did.
So there's just something to be said for that. In the biggest stage against the Super Bowl champs, the eventual Super Bowl champs.
You're right.
My man played his heart out.
Yeah. He did. And you can't take that away from him. But, I mean, I say this. Fitzy's going to get every chance to prove that this is not the team for him. He will get every chance to prove that.
Just when's the last time he put together a full season without stumbling? Like, we love him in 4 or 5 game spreads. You know what I mean? Like, when my man goes on a run, he goes on a run. But he hadn't been doing them 16, 17 game runs.
Right. But he also has not had the opportunity to do that in quite some time.
That is very fair as well.
Without looking over his shoulder. So, either way, it's polarizing, right? This is a polarizing team to watch. And I think they might wind up getting a lot of flex games because of it. I don't know how many primetime games they have, but you could be seeing a lot of this team. And obviously the tight end position, Logan Thomas is going to continue to try to ascend.
Yeah, he's growing every year, I feel like.
Yeah, the question for me is this offensive line is projected to be middle of the pack in 2021 by PFF. You know what I mean? Like,
that does not bode well
as
for
they
what
go.
Do.
I think. Right. If they can be top 8 to 10, look out. You know what I'm saying? Like, this team could definitely be one of the top teams in the NFC. So, like, they could be one of those. They could be one of the top 3-4 seeds Well, if they're 4, if they win the NFC East, you know what I'm saying, at the very least, if everybody else is better. But, you know what I'm saying, they could be better than that depending on how the season goes. So, let's move on to the defense before we talk about the schedule. Unless you got anything else, bro.
Those players up front, Young, Allen, Payne, Montez, like, woo.
Yeah.
That's scary, man.
Yeah. Yep. It is. And the only thing I'm worried about for this defense is depth, because the starters are fine. Like, the starters they'll get you where you need to go. I love the secondary. You're adding a Benjamin St. Juste to that. I just, William Jackson, Cameron Curl, young guy, Landon Collins still playing at a high level. And this is what we talked about before. The other linebackers are good linebackers. John Bostic and Cole Holcomb can do the thing for you. Now you add in the Jamin Davis, a young athletic guy who does not need to be a do-it-all player to be pressed into starting duty as a rookie. So he can just go out there, make plays. Rivera has always put his linebackers in a good position. C. Kuechly, Luke, on his way to the Hall of Fame. Should have been a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, but we won't talk about that. It's going to happen for him. It is going to happen for him.
All right. Well, speaking of happening for him, how does the schedule look to you?
Looking at the schedule, man, I gotta be honest, just to keep it, plain and simple. Got these boys going 11-6, man. Got these boys going 11-6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I spent a little time in my youth as a Washington fan. Ooh. So with that in mind,
I like it.
I know not to get hyped when I'm supposed to get hyped. So
pulls it right back out from underneath you.
So I got them going 9-8 as well, in true NFC East fashion, down to the wire between three teams. 2 teams lose in the final week, and one team is risen to mediocrity in that number 4 spot where they get to host a playoff game when they probably shouldn't.
Yeah, man, and you know what crazy is they have set this division up to where it's going to come down to the last weeks of the season.
I love their playing each other.
Because they're all of them. I mean, the last 5 games, Washington has Dallas, Philadelphia, New York.
Yeah.
Like, that's the last 5 games of the season. Yes. So the NFC East is going to come down to the latter part of the season, the last 4 weeks of the season.
All right. Well, how you got it?
Plain and simple.
How you got it shaken out?
I got Washington on top, followed by the Dallas Cowboys, followed by the New York Giants, and then Philadelphia Eagles bringing up the rear in position to get one of the top 5 picks of the draft.
All right. Well, I got Washington and Dallas tying for first. I don't know who's going to win that matchup because
they all hate you now.
Yeah, that's fair. But we all end up hating the NFC East every year for this same reason.
Touche.
Washington, Dallas tying it for first, Giants in third, and Philly bringing up the rear until they can get some more pieces on that wide receiving core.
Yeah. Well, it sounds about right, man. It sounds about right. I don't know about the tie in this standpoint, but listen, I think hopefully I would like to see a resurgent Washington football team at the top of the East. I want to see their,
I think with Washington in the playoffs,
I want to see their fans get a little rowdy.
Yeah. Oh, the Hog Molly's going crazy. Man.
Also,
can they still do that?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think that's allowed. But no, it'd be even better because, like, we all talked about Dallas fans earlier. The NFL is also a little bit better when Washington football team fans, I was about to say the other name, can just tell Dallas fans to shut up.
Yeah.
Like, that's great because they don't get that very often. Right. So I think it'd be good
because I do feel like they're all rivals, but there's 2 main rivals here. It's the Giants fans against Philly fans and Washington fans against Cowboy fans. So this year, Giants fans can tell Philly to shove it, and Washington can do the same to Dallas. Maybe. I don't know.
There you go. There you go.
All right, well, next week.
Like wrapping up the NFC East.
Yeah, man. Next week, we're going to get into the AFC East. Talk about, are the Patriots going to get back to that number one spot? Is Miami and Buffalo going to keep winning? And what do the new look Jets look like? So, very excited to dig into the AFC East next week. Very fun division.
I'm very excited about the AFC East as well, man. Like, more so than anything, I want to see what Cam Newton does in year 2 in a Bill Belichick offense. That's going to lead the division for me. How the Patriots go could make this division very interesting, or Buffalo's going to run away with it for another year. So it's going to be what it is. Patriots getting a lot of players back, though, so could make it interesting.
You heard it here first. Shawn is drafting Cam Newton as his quarterback again this year. So,
not doing that.
Oh, man. All right, Shawn, where can they find you? Where can they chop it up with you on the social medias?
Oh, of course, bro. At the Kid Suds on Twitter, at nickel_down_football on Twitter, at nickel_down_football on IG, and that's where we can talk this football content, man. Send us whatever you got football related, and make sure to tune in, like, subscribe, definitely like the video because it helps us get our names out there. We definitely want to bring more content to you. Drew, where can they find your stuff at, bro?
As always, you can find this and everything I do on drewharrisoncomedy.com. Hit me up on Instagram. It's my favorite social medias, at Laugh with Harrison. We respond. We get back to you. Be thinking of those your team updates. It's about that time where we get your feedback on how your team's doing. Send those to me. Send those to the nickel and a dime pages. Wherever you want to send it to. We'll see it and put it on the air.
Let's do it.
We'll see you next week.